ladies and gentlemen. The session of this topic is Women Leaders Managing Change with Audacity, Confidence and Adaptability. This is such a broad topic because change is happening everywhere, every single day. And those willing to accept change move forward, but those who have the ideas and are willing to embrace them and have the desire to develop and achieve the results or make a difference are the ones who actually drive the change. And today I'm delighted to be joined by these remarkable women next to me who will each share their experience and hopefully give you some inspiration to embrace change with confidence yourselves. I'm interested to learn from this session on our panel what the goals were in driving change. I'm expecting that to be along the lines of communicating effectively with stakeholders, increasing the capability and efficiency of their organisations, and meeting the business drivers. I'm sure there are many more. I'm also interested to learn about the barriers that they faced, which I'm expecting to include things like the systems, colleagues, culture and funding, and how they overcame those barriers. And ultimately, did the end justify the means? What were the outcomes and were they different from what they expected? What have they learned and what advice will they give to the others? So if we start with Panjakam, can I ask you the first question today? Can you describe your experience of driving change within your career, how you've overcome resistance, and what you've learned to be the most important factors to address when managing change?
My career, it's 28 years, but I have to give you a synopsis of what happened. So I must tell that I have a little different career. I'm now a banker, but I started in manufacturing. Then I went into technology and then changed to banking. So the first resistance was internally within me, because I'm like, I have a manufacturing job, I'm comfortable, why should I change? So I must say that those days, even buying a single bedroom house, if husband and wife were both in manufacturing, was impossible. So surely my driver was that I have to get into technology which earns me more money. And that's how I changed, I got that resistance in me changed. But when I went to technology, that is when I realized that a person in manufacturing has very less respect among technologists. And I don't know whether it is because I was a woman, but after giving me the job, that organization really did not put me in front of customers, thinking that this is a lady who has come from manufacturing, can she even manage technology? That came as a little difficulty to me because I was in the, most of the time, the first month of me joining that organization, I was in the library reading. But then I thought that I cannot just wait and get somebody else lead my career. So I just went up to the manager and said, give me any job that nobody even wants. I'm ready to do it. And then I got the most difficult job that I've ever had, and that is managing, giving this technology support management. So we were taking care of British Telecom, and I had to really work day in and day out to make that job happen. And nobody wanted to do the job. And then within 3-4 months of my doing that job, I thought I did it quite well, but I got redundant. Because those days, it is like last join, first out, irrespective of whether you do a good job or not, and I got redundant. And that came as a shock because by the time we had bought a 2-bedroom house and the EMI was too high, I had no guts to go back and tell my husband and family that I'm losing my job. So it was absolutely necessary that I get another job. And I go and meet this great friend, great senior leader, and he says, okay, he interviewed me and said, I have only one objection, and the objection is that women cannot stay late. So I was literally shocked because, you know, I stay late, he said, and maybe it's not because it's a he, but it's about saying that stereotype that women cannot stay late. And I was in a job where I used to go home every day at 11:30, 12. So there was resistance from outside also when I was working, saying that, can women do this, can women do that? But I think, you know, that resistance, always I used to be on the front foot and try and change that. And I told that manager that I don't stay late when you have job, I stay late when I have job. And then, you know, I didn't get that job. Naturally, I didn't get it, but that was a stepping stone for me to get more powerful, look at myself and say, what do I want to do? And I think I was successful in many ways, and then I joined ANZ. I think, that is the first place, not because I'm working in ANZ today, but I thought that was a place where there's a lot of opportunities, irrespective of gender. So, I started working there, and I must tell you that when the job for the senior most person opened up, again it is a question of perception. Can an Indian woman wearing sari, very local, has not done international roles big time, can that person get this job? But I think, what I did was I went to my super boss and said, can you tell me one reason that I shouldn't get this job as managing director? And he was shocked, I must tell you. He knew me very well, but again, that is the resistance that is offered by multiple colleagues of yours thinking that, can I take the risk on this woman? I don't know whether it's because it's a woman, but this is normal. So I think that resistance also in me, first I circumvented, and then worked, and then competed with many men, and then got the job. So I think why I make that statement is because I've heard many of the girls who work in ANZ, young and middle-level managers, they come and tell me that, Pankajam, if you can do this job, we can also do. So I think what the big thing of my career, which I think, is that can I deal with ambiguity? How can I move out of my comfort zone? Because many times even my family has told, this job is comfortable, and I say that's exactly why I want to change. And it's about learning. It's about not bothering what others say, but it's about having confidence about yourself.
Thank you. Malika, can I ask you, what are your experiences of managing change, and are there any typical personality traits which you think makes change easier?
Hi, thank you, Jenny, and thank you for the audience for the patience of getting back after lunch and trying to listen to us. So thanks a lot for being here, and I'll try and make it as quick as possible and try to be witty in between as well. I'm here today because my kids have sacrificed the time for me. I'm here today because my husband, who is a PhD in behavioral psychology, gave up his career. His Dr. Sunil Shankar. He gave up his career to support my career. And the reason he has done that, I've been married now for 24 years. My daughter and my son-in-law are here with me today. So thank you to both of them. My son-in-law is also in my company. He's there to support me. The reason I'm here today is because of the support system that I have. But I created the support system because I was passionate about my work. When you ask me what are the personality traits, Jenny, I would definitely say one has to create their own personality. I definitely did not have a personality earlier prior to starting work. I did all kinds of jobs. I was a sales girl when I started. Today I run $1 million industry. I have 18 employees. I work in 13 countries. I've done all that because I created a personality for myself. And the reason I was able to do that is because I started something which started giving me a livelihood initially. Then I got hooked to work. Once I got hooked to work, then I realized that this is what I wanted to do. And once I realized that what I was doing, I couldn't do anything other than that. I was so passionate about it. Dictionary describes, passion as an intense emotion. I'm nobody to talk about grammar and nouns and what different things mean to different people. I'm a 9th standard fail myself. I haven't done my graduation, but I decided to go to IIM and enroll for, strategic marketing and brand building for profitability and growth. Because I was passionate about my work, I wanted to learn more. So, with all the eminent panelists sitting here today, I'm privileged to be one among you. I'm not as literate as you are. I'm not a doctorate. I'm not even a graduate. Today, my kids are more educated than I am. My son-in-law holds multiple degrees. My daughter holds 2 degrees on her own. And I'm more privileged here. I'm here because I have a solid support system. The reason I was able to get that is because they realized my passion for work. I couldn't do anything. So as Dr. Bhatia said, PhD, I have something called PSH, which is you need to be passionate about what you're doing. You need to be sincere. And you need to be extremely, you need to show a lot of humility in your work. Passion is one thing that I've described. Another thing is, sincerity. Now, you need to be yourself. I can always try and pretend to be somebody I'm not when I'm trying to get an order. I work with most of the government sectors. I work with, private sectors, and I work with all of them. And I see the biggest of IIMs and IITs and all of them. I need to respect that. At the same time, I also need to know that yes, I have failed my ninth. I was not good at education, but I tried to enroll in a course so that it could match up to them. So I'm not the dumb babe who's sitting in front of them, not knowing the subject. I tried to educate myself in order to respect their work. Their time was important. So I educated myself. I said, if I'm going to sit with a lady who's a brand manager, who's a group head, she's come from IIM, she's put in years of hard work to get there. She's a topper in her college or she's a topper in her university. I'm seeking her time. It better be worth it. So while going there, I need to, I need to look good enough. I'm talking about the subject. So that's when I decided that I need to be sincere. So not just being passionate, but to be sincere as well. So what you do, by being sincere, you first enroll yourself into something, you show sincerity towards your work and also appreciate other people's work. Humility is one of the most important traits I've seen. Very few people have it, very, very few. I do not mean any offense to anyone here, but we should not be arrogant at all. I have found a lot of times that people are very arrogant, very, very arrogant. I remember I'm hooked to LinkedIn because I feel that today's youngsters, and I'm 43, so I'm not that young, but today's youngsters are all unhooked in, they're on social media, and the best way to connect with them, they do not know who you are. So it's okay to start all over again. Just because, last year at the same time I was in United States, I was in New York, I was receiving an award from the editor of Forbes for a unique business model. And today I'm sitting here in India amongst all of you. I'm receiving this award. Everybody doesn't know about me. I'm not a celebrity, I'm nobody. So when I'm going to someone, I should always remember that they don't know me, they don't know anything about me. So I need to start all over again. And it's all right, it's perfectly fine. It's okay if they don't know you. It's okay if they make you wait from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. I've done that before. Because they don't know who you are. They don't know what you're going to talk about. But once you start talking sense, is when your 10 minutes time becomes 10 days time with them. That's when they call you for meetings. That's when they invest in you. So please, my sincere request is, be passionate, be sincere, show a lot of humility, and trust me, if your support system is there with you, they'll only come to you once they understand that you're totally passionate about it. Today, I'm very proud to say my husband is a house husband. I'm here because he's taking care of my son who's in his 12th. My son aspires to be an astrophysicist. So he's taking care of him. My son cannot achieve his dreams, and he just got an award from Indian Institute of Technology for Young Environment Scientist. He couldn't have got that award if my husband did not give up his career for my son. If my children decide to spend their time with me rather than their own friends, they are sacrificing for me. Instead of hanging around with their friends and going out for a movie with them, they say, Mama, you take me out for a movie. My daughter prefers to shop with me despite being married, and I'm sure they were happily married. But she decides to spend time with me. She says, Mama, take me out for shopping. Mama, do this. They are sacrificing their own time, and I need to realize that. Once we realize this, I think we're on a platform, and trust me, I do not believe in gender bias at all. I think I've been treated very well. I have been treated well because I earned that respect. I work towards it. So, pardon me, ladies, I'm not for, gender bias and all that. I think I support women and men equally. I think we need to earn and work our ladder up. Nobody knows about us. We need to create our identity. So let's work towards that and stop, that self-pity and self-sympathy. Come on, let's go and rock. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your passions there. They certainly come across. Nandini, do you have any female leadership role models? If so, what is it about their style that particularly appeals to you?
Well, yes, and I think the female leader role model that I have is somebody who's very, very close to me. And I can't think of anyone better than my mom for it. My mother's been a journalist. She's 76 today. And she began her journalism very, very many years ago. And she was the first woman reporter for the Northeast. And she covered the entire agitation, the complete militants, the attacks, going to the camps. And she was working for the BBC radio then. So it was that many, many years ago. It was an absolutely male-dominated profession. And having a woman out there wasn't easy at all. But I think the way she led it, she was more like a torchbearer. I mean, she changed the perception. She was out there. And trust me, she always wore a sari. But she was there, she was in the camp, she was there with the army, she wanted to see what happened.
it was just amazing for me to see how she managed, how she led. And not just leading or not just the work front, but I think the balance that she maintained, I never thought I missed out on anything. I think Ma was always there for me. I've seen the way she managed between her work, met her deadlines, managed us, and happy, and always smiling, and extremely supportive. So I think for me, I can't think of anyone better than my mom, who's been my role model. And I think I've learned immensely from her. She always said that it was important to be patient. She said patience is a boon, tolerance isn't, because tolerance, you're taking bullshit. Patience, you're actually watching, waiting, and doing what is right. Even today, I think my mom, I always say I can't do anything without her. I'm a single mom myself. And my son is 18 years old now. And I've been single since he's been a little child. Once again, it was my mom with all her strength who supported me, was my support system for me to be where I am today. So I think she's my role model, and I wish I was even a patch on her.
Thank you, Nandini. Gayatri, could you share with us how exercising change within your organisation has come easy, but also the challenges that you've faced, along with your experiences of driving change throughout your career, and how you've overcome resistance? So a lot to cover.
Thank you, Jenny. Very good afternoon. Like I'm really inspired by my co-panelists, and the very fact that we all are here, I think, reinforces the fact that we women are no less than any men. Though women has men in it, female has male in it, and of course she has he in it, but still we rule. And I'm not a feminist. I've been married for 30 years, have grown up children, 2 sons I have. My career started with teaching in a college, women's college, where I taught happily for 16 years, just taking care, you know, being very happy, maintaining balance between my work and my family, could bring up my children. And suddenly, like the time flew, and I found my sons, who are just 1 year apart, like they have a difference of 1 year, in their teens. And you know how difficult it is to handle boys. So that time I decided to take a sabbatical. That was again my own choice. Sat at home for 4 years, giving board exams with both of them. And then suddenly I got this opportunity to work in a wonderful institute which was just conceptualized as a think tank for Ministry of Corporate Affairs called Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. That in fact changed my life, you know, for good, of course. Because that was the time when this institute was established, and the lot of evolvement of Companies Act was taking, a lot of things were happening in India after the financial problems which we have had. The Companies Act, which was written in 1956, was in the process of being rewritten. And I can recall very well a cold December morning in 2009, when a term called like corporate social responsibility was floated in front of corporate world. And most of the, like the hall was full, it was held in Vigyan Bhavan. And the Vigyan Bhavan, for those who are not aware, is a huge auditorium where most of the government functions are held. So most of the industrialists, all industrialists were sitting, and when this corporate social responsibility, when then President of India floated this term that yes, like corporate world should take up their corporate responsibility more seriously, there was, like it was a damn squib. It was, the reaction was that yes, this is nothing new, we have been doing it. And that was the time when voluntary guidelines were also released. That was the year. Later on, without, you know, waiting for them to react, the government was slowly working, and the act was being rewritten, in which there was a concept introduced which was mandatory in nature. Unheard of. Again, it was a complete paradigm shift as far as corporate world was concerned. And as you all know, that being in a democratic country, every evolvement of the law takes place through stakeholder consultations. So it was a roller coaster ride for me to be a part of all those stakeholder consultations, going and attending, taking their views, getting the views of corporate, of all the big actors who will have to play this game, getting it collated, putting it in the act, then getting it in the, like there is a proper procedure of going through houses. So this change which was brought was not only in my life but in the entire country. Because I'm very proud to say that India is the only country where corporate social responsibility is being mandated. No other country has it in the world. So like this particular change has really changed my concepts, changed my way towards looking at life, because I feel very fortunate to be at the right place at the right time when so many things are happening. Though it is just 1 year, last year only the act was put into effect, and we need to see the results. And I think the main issue in India of a huge gap between have and have-nots will definitely be taken care of by this initiative, which is definitely a paradigm shift in India. Thank you.
Thank you. And Gayatri, another Gayatri on the panel here today. Can you share with us instances when your expectations perhaps weren't met during the change, but as a result you realized some unexpected benefits?
So first, profuse apologies to each of you. I'm sorry that I was late. It wasn't intentional. I'm so sorry. I think we've listened to varied people today, and we each have had experiences when it comes to change. Change doesn't tell you that it's coming. I think we need to be prepared for change. We need to vision, look forward, look to the future, and then bring about the change we want to see. So through the many roles that I've played, I think a constancy that I've seen in change is that it's going to happen. So how do we prepare ourselves for it? One of my roles, I led the Center of Excellence for Talent Development. So my responsibility was to ensure that identified leaders undergo an assessment, and then their key leadership skills are honed for tomorrow. So there was a lot of stress, irritation, insecurity, anger in terms of why do you want an assessment done? I'm talking about maybe 4 years ago. Why do you want an assessment done? We've all run large, verticals. We're all part of a huge multinational company. What's this all about, and why are you not giving us the truth? So I think my biggest lesson was, how do you go about, expressing your self-belief, expressing what you believe in, expressing it in a transparent manner, so that people who need to be part of this change process are with you in it. In short, if I had to look at expectations, I would say that I had the biggest and a very, very senior leader in the organization. He had a voice against the entire program and the change. In fact, we were awarded by an external forum for this particular change management initiative, and he was aggressively against it. And then he became my biggest, from the naysayer to extremely supportive. So I was looking through, how did this process happen? It's just getting the buy-in, and the buy-in happens when there is a win-win situation both ways. So my expectations was, it was trepidation. How is his team going to take this? How are they going to pull this down? Is this program going to flourish at all? And through my, maybe the quotas model that you look for in change and transformation, apply that step by step, and I found that over a period of 9 months, it took me 9 months, and a lot of frustrations, he became the biggest, driver of this particular program. And I had this internalized not just in India, across a couple of other countries in Capgemini too. So unexpected, it was totally unexpected that he would support me, and I think the biggest value system for me from this is being transparent in the whole process.